Loretta Young.
Did you happen to read a story in the newspapers a while back about the man two women vigorously claimed as husband? One woman said that he was her present husband, and the other that he was her long-lost husband. I don't have to remind you the confusion this caused to everyone concerned, and especially the judge in the case. Because, well, unlike Solomon, he couldn't very well suggest cutting the disputed husband in half. As it turned out, however, it was simply a case of mistaken identity. And that could be the title of our story tonight. Mistaken identity. And now about our friend with the double trouble. Up until now, our man has been living a quiet, shy, and terribly successful life. And I'm going to let his mother tell you more about him.
This is my son, Wally Wallington, creator of that phenomenally popular comic strip, Detective Rory. And this is his friend, Lieutenant Chuck Larson of the Los Angeles Police, whom Walter frequently consults on the latest developments in scientific criminology. And here am I, lovely, gracious, witty, and, if I may say so, rather young to be the mother of a mature son. And if you will look closely, you will see that at the moment, I am extremely puzzled. Walter!
How does this speech sound? Detective Roy says to the head of the jewel thieves, perhaps you'll change your mind, Jim Mullen, when you read the results of the laboratory analysis.
Walter.
Hmm?
Walter, would you mind forgetting about that idiotic detective for just a moment? There's a young lady at the door.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mother. Young lady? Well, who is she? What does she want?
She's Miss Elizabeth Stacey, and she wants to cut your heart out and boil it in saddle soap.
What?
I'm quoting her very words.
Well, I don't know any Elizabeth Stacey.
Why was she so mad? Did she say?
Well, I gather she had just driven in from Mountain Vista. She tells me that Walter spent a lot of time there lately, passing bum checks on the natives and romancing the local belles.
Oh, Walter passing bum checks.
Walter romancing the local belles. That's the part that buckled my knees.
Maybe you ought to talk to this girl.
She's a very pretty young lady, Walter. Why don't you comb your hair for once, dear?
Well, Mother, you know I have to get out this comic strip, and I haven't got any time for crackpots. Why don't you tell her I'm out of town, and that I...
Out of town, eh? Huh? I figured you'd try that out-of-town business. Why, you no-good cop, are you? I'll get you to have decency into your head. You're no-good
Young lady,
cheating
in the name of the law. Young lady, in the name of the law, stop that.
Oh, shut up. You haven't got anything to do with this. But you have. Oh. I'm afraid I've mistaken you for someone else. Excuse me.
Well, it's quite all right. It could happen to anyone, I think.
It's remarkable. The resemblance. It's remarkable. No. Here, let me see. Oh, yes, your eyes are brown. His were blue. Well, what I mean is, for a moment, I thought he was Wally Wallington. But my son is Wally Wallington.
No. Young lady.
Yes?
This man is a certified public accountant.
What?
His name is Lester Crossmeyer.
What?
Lester Crossmeyer.
Oh, look, you don't have to treat me as if I'm a lunatic. I know he's Wally Wallington. I got his address from his agent.
Now, see here, Miss Tracy.
Stacy.
No, just a minute,
you
Chuck.
have no...
Chuck, I'm sure the young lady can explain her behavior. Wouldn't you like to sit down over here, dear, and relax and tell us all about it?
Well, guess maybe I better.
There, now, why not start at the beginning, dear?
Yeah. Yeah, well, you see, it was like this. I'm publicity directress for the town of Mountain Vista, where the palms meet the pines, you know? You don't? Well, anyway, not long ago, this young man came into my office, see? And he introduced himself to me as Wally Wallington. The creator of Detective Rory. You know, it's absolutely amazing, because that imposter looked exactly like pictures I've seen of you, even to that shaggy dog hairdo. Anyway, he told me that he was so delighted with our village, you know, that he planned to have a whole sequence of his comic strip take place in Mountain Vista. Well, naturally, I was just thrilled to death because, well, Detective Rory is syndicated all over the country. And it meant publicity for us on a national scale, you know? You know, he was so sweet and shy and honest that I introduced him to the city fathers, and I urged them to give him every possible cooperation. And his wistful ways won all their hearts. And then do you know what he did? When he finally left town, he left $10,000 worth of bad checks behind him.
$10,000?
Yes, he did. Oh, I'm awfully sorry. It just never occurred to me that there would be two fright wigs like yours in the world. And that's why I tried to beat your brains out with my handbag. And again, I apologize. I am terribly sorry.
What was this you said about my imposter being somewhat of a Romeo?
Yes, I was hoping we'd get to that. Although, frankly, Walter, I never dreamed that you'd be interested.
Mother, being an amateur criminologist, I'm interested
Yes,
in all
of course, dear. Go on, dear.
Well, actually, the romance angle doesn't amount to very much. It just happens that there's a girl in Mountain Vista who, well, happens to have a weakness for the shy, scoutmaster type, you know. Well, she had a couple of dates with this phony Wally Wallington, and it never got beyond the hand-holding stage, but, well, it also happens that she happens to have a very quick temper, and naturally she was angry at being made a fool of.
Miss Stacy?
Hmm?
Could I ask you one more question?
Hmm?
Are you the girl that fell for the imposter?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm awfully sorry. But you see, Mother, you always say that Detective Roy's deductive methods are absolute nonsense, but, well, this positively proves...
Walter, nuts to Detective Rory. I gather that your fellow villagers will blame you for having sponsored the swindler.
Blame me? There is a town council meeting on Thursday night. Guess who's going to be fired as publicity directress?
Oh, well, don't you fret, Miss Stacy. I mean, I'll take care of everything.
You will, Mr. Wallington? Well, how?
Well, I'll see to it that Walter Wallington is brought to justice. I mean the other Walter Wallington. I mean the imposter. I'm the real one, and he's not the... do I make myself clear?
No, not altogether. And it's exactly the kind of bashful babble that turns my knees to water. Mrs. Wallington, I take it your son is not already spoken for.
He's always been simply terrified of girls.
Oh, probably all he needs is to someone to give him a little confidence.
Yes. Why don't you try it, dear?
Maybe I will. You're blushing. Does it make you just tingle all over to see him blush like that?
No. You know, Walt, actual police work is a lot different than plotting a comic strip.
Well, I know that, Chuck, but, well, somebody has to come to this young lady's assistance.
Then it's all settled that you'll return to Mountain Vista with Miss Stacy?
Yes. Yes, I will. And don't worry, Miss Stacy. As I said, I'll take care of everything.
Detective Rory himself never made a nobler speech. When they arrived at Mountain Vista, Miss Stacy suggested that my son stay at the Cactus Inn, which was situated just a few blocks from her home.
I think you're going to be very comfortable here.
They always say that a small-town hotel is very relaxing.
Yes, it is. Oh, hello, Mr. Milner. Mr. Milner's the hotel manager.
Oh, how do you do?
Listen. Oh, wait. Stop it, Mr. Milner. Mr. Milner.
Yes, please.
This is not the man who cheated you. This is the real Wally Wallington. The other man was an imposter.
Yeah. He does look a little bit different.
Well, of course, his eyes are brown. The other man's eyes were blue.
Are you sure?
Well, I'll vouch for it.
Great little voucher, you are. Any known dope fiend or three-time loser, you see to it that he gets a key to the city. And let me tell you something else.
What?
Next Thursday evening, when the town council meets, I'm going to make a resolution that we shave your head.
Well, I'm not going to stand by and see Miss Stacy insulted. I mean, well, if you'd rather I moved to the motel down the street, I'd be very happy to.
Oh, we'll let you have a room, provided you pay cash in advance.
Oh, well, I fully intended to.
While my son spent the rest of the day interviewing the imposter's victims, Miss Stacy waited for him at her home.
Oh, come in, Wally.
Oh, Elizabeth.
Wally, your hair, it's combed.
Oh, I went to the barber, and he puts some kind of stuff in it. Liquid cement, I think.
Oh, what happened to your hand?
Well, I went into the bank, and...
Yeah?
Well, somebody mistook me for my imposter, and they stabbed me with a fountain pen.
Oh, and to think you're doing all this for me. I just don't know how to thank you. Come on over here and sit down and tell me all about your day, huh? Right over here. There you are. Now.
Well, then when I went to the doctor's office to get my hand bandaged, he tried to strangle me with his stethoscope.
Oh, he didn't.
Well, yes, he did, and I had a horrible time trying to convince him I wasn't a swindler.
Oh, you poor darling. Oh, Wally. Anything else?
Well, yes. As a matter of fact, there was. When I left the doctor's office, a taxicab driver deliberately tried to run me over, and he was going about 30 miles...
Mountain Vista's a very small town. We don't have taxicabs here.
No?
No.
Well, that's too bad.
Oh?
Well, what I mean is that I said that because I thought you'd kiss me again.
Oh.
I apologize.
There. Now, let's have the truth, huh? Did you have any luck at all today with your investigation?
Hmm?
Your investigation?
Oh, yes, the investigation.
Yes.
Oh, yes, as a matter of fact, I was going to tell you about that. I came across one lead that may be just the clue we're looking for.
Oh?
You see, my double left his shirt in the Mountain Vista laundry, and well, he evidently forgot to come back for it.
That's good.
Oh, yes, it certainly is.
Mm-hmm.
You see, I sent the shirt immediately to Lieutenant Larson in Los Angeles, and he's going to see to it that it gets a thorough scientific investigation.
Oh, and what are you going to prove by that?
Well, that's rather difficult to say. You see, modern criminology is largely a painstaking trial and error process.
Well, I wonder if I could be of any help.
Oh, yes, you can.
Oh, good.
Certainly. You see, you said, if I remember rightly, that the swindler visited you here on several occasions.
Yes, he did. He did indeed. As a matter of fact, he sat right where you're sitting right now.
Oh, he sat right here?
Yes, he certainly did.
Elizabeth?
Yes?
I suppose you kissed him. And he sat right here.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
Excuse me, just a minute.
Yes.
Would you get up, please?
Sure. Oh. Is that a magnifying glass?
Oh, yes, it is. Oh, well, a magnifying glass may look absurd, but, well, it's really the only way to ensure a thorough scientific search. Detective Rory uses one all the time.
Oh, he does?
How many times?
How many times what?
Did you kiss him?
Wally.
Elizabeth,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to bring this man to justice if it's the last thing I ever do.
I'm sure you will, Wally. I'm sure you will.
You know, I'm not actually sure that he ever sat in this chair, Wally.
Well, Elizabeth, you can't leave a stone unturned.
Oh.
I mean chairs.
Yeah, I know. What's that?
Oh, I don't think it's anything.
Oh, hi, Dad.
Hi, sweet.
This is my father, Wally.
Well, how do you do, Mr. Father? I mean, well, you know.
I do?
Dad, this is the real Wally Wallington,
Oh.
the amateur criminologist that I told you about. And he's going to crack this case wide open.
Oh, sure he is. Can't miss. What's that you got in back of you?
Oh, it's a magnifying glass.
Oh, well, now, Dad, it may look ridiculous, but a magnifying glass is the only way to ensure a thorough scientific search.
Well, that's right.
Mm-hmm. And look, Look what Wally found under the couch. Oh, don't touch it. Fingerprints.
Of course, we won't know what it is until we have it analyzed.
No.
Well, I've got news for you.
Yeah?
That 7-year-old delinquent who lives next door took a hammer to our alarm clock yesterday. And this is what's left of the mainspring. Excuse me, sweet.
Oh.
Father's absolutely right, Elizabeth. I'm an idiot.
No. No, now wait. Look, you yourself said that modern criminology is a process of trial and error, now didn't you? All right, fine. This time you made an error. Next time it'll be different. I'm sure of it. I know it.
Do you really have that much faith in me?
Does that answer your question? Oh. Dad, isn't he adorable?
Adorable?
Yeah.
And bright as a new silver dollar.
Mm-hmm.
Have you got any more theories about this case?
Oh, yes, I certainly do. As a matter of fact, you see, I've come to the conclusion that, that the crook had an accomplice working here in town. That is, some local citizen who supplied him with weaknesses and bank balances of prospective victims.
Oh, that's kind of hard to believe. Especially since paper hangers almost always work alone.
Paper hangers?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the underworld term used for crooks that pass bum checks.
Oh.
You're absolutely right about paper hangers usually wanting to work alone. But in this case, I think it's the exception to the rule.
Of course it is. Dad here thinks he knows all about swindlers and confidence men because he knew so many of them when he was young. Hmm?
If my daughter keeps on talking, pretty soon you'll suspect that I'm the accomplice.
Dad.
Oh, good heavens, Mr. Stacy. I mean, well, after all, she's your father. You are.
He's trying to tell you that no dad of mine could possibly be involved in anything that's dishonest.
Expresses himself kind of quaint, don't he?
Mm-hmm. When he gets flustered, he sputters like a steam radiator. Other than that, he's perfectly normal.
Elizabeth?
Mm-hmm.
I wish you wouldn't always discuss me as if I weren't present.
Oh, Wally, I'm sorry. Guess you have had kind of a long day. Maybe you better go home and get some sleep, huh?
I guess you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, good night, Mr. Stacy.
Listen, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll drop in here around noon tomorrow and see how things are going, okay?
I'd like that.
That's good. Wally, just in case another taxi driver tries to run you down on the way back to the hotel. There.
Good night, Elizabeth.
Good night, Wally.
Walt, you know that shirt you sent me turned out to be a gold mine. Yeah, the lab brought out another laundry mark.
We've traced it to a call-for and delivery outfit right here in L.A.
Well, that's wonderful news, Chuck.
Yeah, I got a couple of boys going over the company's address list right now. We'll probably nab the imposter before the day's out.
Yeah. Okay, Chuck. Goodbye.
Well?
It looks like the Los Angeles police are going to capture my imposter before nightfall.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Oh, there's just one more thing.
Yeah.
I'd appreciate it if you'd keep all this information confidential.
Oh?
See, I'm still convinced that the crook had an accomplice working here in town, and I wouldn't want him tipped off.
No, of course not. Now, there you see. I told you sooner or later you'd crack this case. Goodbye now, and I'll see you later. I gotta run.
You shouldn't have said anything in front of her. If the swindler has an accomplice, I'll bet anything it's her father. I've been told that he's had some pretty shady connections before he moved here.
Sir, you've been extremely unpleasant to me ever since I moved into this hotel. And up until now, I've been able to bear with you. But if you say one more word against Miss Stacy or her father, I'm going to ram this telephone down your throat. Yeah. Well, that's too bad, Chuck.
What is it?
Well, the police located the crook's apartment, all right.
Yeah?
But when they got there, he'd already skipped town.
Oh, no. What miserable luck.
I guess somebody tipped him off.
Huh?
Well, you didn't happen to mention to anybody that the police were closing in, did you?
Well, not a soul. I didn't tell a soul, only my dad. Well, anyway, we shouldn't be so distressed about it. You'll find another clue. I know you will. Oh, something's burning.
She didn't tell a soul. Only her father. Only her father? She doesn't realize it, but her father must be the imposter's accomplice. stay on the case, I'd have to send him to jail. It's better that she should lose her job than find out that her father's a crook.
I hope you don't mind if you burn beans, Wally. Hey, Wally, where are you going?
Well, Elizabeth,
Yeah?
I can't stay for dinner.
What do you mean?
I'm withdrawing from the case.
Why, in heaven's name?
I have a comic strip to get out.
Yeah?
Well, I've just wasted so much time already that it...
What do you mean you've wasted time?
Well, it isn't that I've wasted time. It's just that... I
You
have...
mean you call it wasting time when I held your hand and kissed you? Is that what you mean?
No. I mean, yes, I have, but I don't mean it exactly
Why,
that
you
way, but...
spluttering steam radiator,
Elizabeth,
you!
it's
I didn't want to take you to a
Elizabeth,
fault. That's
hey,
what I ought to
Elizabeth.
do. What?
Lovers quarrel?
Oh, Dad! Oh, no.
Elizabeth.
Oh, go away. Oh, Dad. Walter? Walter!
Oh, Mother, what are you doing here?
Oh, Walter, I like your hair. I flew in to see how your romance is progressing.
It's doing magnificently. I think I'll cut my throat.
Walter, what's wrong?
Speaking.
Oh, I don't know, Mother.
Right in the lobby.
Take too long to tell anyway.
Mr. Wallington, telephone for you.
Oh, excuse me.
It's Los Angeles calling again.
Thank you. Hello? Hello, Chuck.
Listen, Walt, guess who just got picked up on a hit-and-run charge? None other than Bashful Billy Zobel.
Bashful Billy Zobel? Oh, who's he?
Who's he? Well, that's your double, that's who. This is the joker who's been passing all those phony checks at Mountain Vista. Yeah, he was in such a hurry to leave town, he ran into a couple of parked cars.
Well, congratulations, Chuck. Well, I guess that kind of winds up the case, huh?
But you were so sure there was an accomplice.
Well, I've kind of changed my mind. I'm positive now there wasn't any accomplice. That's right. Wait a minute, Chuck. Hold on. Mr. Milner?
Yes?
What are you so jittery about?
Well, I'm not jittery.
Well, yes, you are jittery, Mr. Milner. You know, it just occurs to me that you were listening the other day when I was talking to Lieutenant Larson, and you overheard me say that the police were closing in.
Well, what if I did?
Well, it could be that you're the accomplice and that you just pretended to be one of the swindler's victims.
Oh, nonsense.
And it could be that
now,
you
wait a minute.
deliberately shifted
Wait,
suspicion
you can't
to
come back here.
Stacy's swap.
Just a minute.
In order to protect yourself.
So you thought Elizabeth's father was mixed up in this case, and all the time it was this stinker.
Yeah, well, just let him try to prove it.
He will, even if he has to use every device known to scientific criminology.
Scientific criminology, my foot. Now, if he doesn't start squealing within 1 minute, I'm going to beat his head to a powder or pulp. Here, Mother, hold this.
Now. Got it.
Clever, Walter! And not only will Elizabeth's job be saved, but Walter is going to feature Mountain Vista in the next sequence of his comic strip.
Oh.
The publicity ought to bring you a raise in salary, Elizabeth, which I would advise you to invest in a hope chest.
I just don't know how to thank you, Walter, for everything you've done for me.
Why don't you kiss me like you've always done?
I've got a better idea. Why don't you kiss me?
Go ahead, Walter. Do as Elizabeth says.
Go ahead, kid. Give it a whirl.
Sweet Bedelia. There's an Indian proverb which seems to apply to our double trouble story tonight. Never judge an Indian brave till you've walked in his moccasins for 2 weeks. Well, good night. See you next week.